And, Domonique Foxworth is set to join us. He, of course, the host of the Domonique Foxworth Show and works for ESPN. The Domonique Foxworth Show, it's a season-long football podcast. Also, you can see him on Get Up, contributor to ESPN, and Scape joins us on the program. All right, let me ask the question. Can you envision a Dolphin win tonight?
I have a hard time envisioning it. I think I should be fair. One of the things that I always try to remind people of is like how close the talent differential is in the NFL, and we talk about like that position is terrible. Like, it's not like college where there actually are some guys that don't belong out there against other guys. So like the game, crazier things have happened, but the problem is the Dolphins, it feels like there's no sadder building in the league right now, and it's really hard to get motivated when it doesn't feel like anybody in that place is safe or they don't have anything to hang their hat on. So I think that's the scarier part for them, but there are holes in that Bills defense. They're going to be able to move it some.
Okay, but when did things change for the Dolphins? It seems like they cracked the code 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's another hard question, man. When do things change for the Dolphins? We talk about a lot of these like genius offensive coordinators, but I think the test is the second idea. And you see, like, that's the definition of these dynasties or the defining characteristics of like the modern dynasties in football. And obviously, the Dolphins aren't close to a dynasty, but they find one way to win. And then because of roster turnover or because changes to rules or other teams have catching up or aging on their roster, they then find a different way to win. That was like the really impressive thing about the Patriots over the years is they found multiple ways to attack you, both offensively and defensively. And I know Bill Belichick is the famed story of him switching from the 4-3 to 3-4, or excuse me, from 3-4 to 4-3, like all that stuff goes on. And it doesn't seem like they figured out. I would give Mike McDaniel a bunch of credit for understanding his limitations, which oftentimes limitations are what lead to like the great ideas. Understanding the limitations of the players he had on his team and the roster they had, and it led to some impressive offense. And then they had nothing else, which may be a result of the limitations of the players on his team, but it doesn't matter. It's going to fall on his feet.
How would you feel if you were back with the Ravens? Tom Brady comes in, wants to sit down with the secondary, wants to pick your brain, and then the next week you're going to be playing the Raiders.
Oh, yeah. I'd feel fine because I wouldn't say anything to him. But in general, I would think that, and you are a journalist, so you understand the perception of like any impropriety is as bad as anything actually happening. Like you often need to protect the people from themselves, is don't put them in the position to have this problem. So like I understand that it's probably not going to turn any games, but still, when you are in that locker room, you're paranoid. Everybody's paranoid. I've watched coaches burn game plans, like literally burn game plans. They send advanced scouts to where we're going to practice and sweep our meeting rooms. Like we're going to a away game. Someone has gone to the hotel and swept the meeting rooms to make sure there are no bugs in there. Like this, we're crazy people. So Tom Brady getting a little extra information, I'm sure, is driving a lot of these teams nuts.
Okay, wait a minute. Give me for instance, what city would you go to where you worried about?
Oh, New England.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, we'd worry about it in New England. And I always thought, like, if you guys are that worried, you must know something because the stories of the New England cheating were like later in my career, but the fear was always there. So like, there was always something going on. We had that problem. And I've heard stories of people leaving out stuff like the counterintelligence where you leave out something that's actually the opposite of what you're doing to try to catch the other team. I had in college, we played West Virginia and we we took a couple of their players. And I remember leading up to the week of games, Coach Friedgen kept telling the media that West Virginia was like cracking our codes for our plays and stuff. And I just realized that the reason why he was telling them that is because we were trying to do that to them. And so I always assume the most paranoid people are also the people that are up to something.
Domonique Foxworth, host of the Domonique Foxworth Show, also ESPN writer, former NFL cornerback. Ben Johnson called out his team and he talked about lack of effort. As a former player, like that's a real indictment. And here we are 2 games into the season. So I don't know how you took that, but that one, That's not one of those we got to fix our mistakes. Now I'm questioning your effort in Chicago, Dominic.
And publicly.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the part.
Yes.
We have normally something like that week 2. If we got an effort issue in week 2, that's an inside the house conversation. Him doing it publicly is very strategic. I think there are some coaches who aren't strategic and they say things to the media willy-nilly, but it seems to me that Ben Johnson is doing this for a reason. And it's a long season, so you have to find different ways to motivate your team and get their attention. It's a little concerning if week 2 it's about effort, but it was a ugly performance in that game. So I understand him trying to light a fire.
And it feels like everybody wants to jump off the Chicago bandwagon after 2 games with the new coach. And Caleb Williams, I don't think has been the issue. I mean, the defense against Detroit was terrible, but what do you see as a former player?
I asked this question of myself, and it helped me kind of reframe the way I was thinking about Caleb Williams is, if this was his rookie year, how would I think about his first 2 games? Because things were such a mess last year. I want to throw that year out. And I know we can't. It's coloring the way that I'm watching him. And if like that Tyler Dunn piece, if I hadn't read that, how would I feel about the way that he is playing right now? And I would feel a lot better if these were his first 2 games in the league. He had a couple accuracy issues and he wasn't perfect, but he showed the like magic promise that got him drafted so high. And I would convince myself like, yeah, he'll clean some of this other stuff up. It was like nerves and new offense and whatever. But the problem is we have last year to draw on, and we have a lot of stories coming out of Chicago that aren't very favorable to Caleb Williams. And that stuff it's in the back of my head. Even when he throws those majestic passes and rolls out and throws a crazy dart downfield, I'm still in the back of my head like, But last year was a mess. And it seems like a lot of your teammates don't really love you the way that I would want my franchise quarterback to be loved.
I hate when I see these quarterbacks in the NFL play like they were in college. They're going to extend a play. They rarely step up in the pocket. I mean, and you have to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you're like, oh, my God, I really have to trust my lineman here. But I got to step up in the pocket. And these young guys don't step up in the pocket. You're a former defensive back. You know, is the goal to get these guys to scramble or try to keep them in the pocket?
I think it's a game plan situation because some quarterbacks throw really well outside of pocket, and you'd be surprised. Some of the most athletic quarterbacks aren't really accurate on the run. And then there's some that go to a certain side and are better that way, and you're trying to force them that way. So I think it's a game plan by game plan situation. But generally, like, I think we all have recognized that the quarterback position has gotten a lot more athletic than it was historically. And I think that's probably a result of us changing the rules to protect the quarterback. The more we protected the quarterback, the less important it was to get rid of the ball, to be in the pocket and make quick decisions, and also like be big. Like, you were gonna get lit up. I know when I was growing up in the 90s watching football, quarterbacks were getting like their chest dove through on a regular basis, and blindside hit and the late hit rules were different. So it was much more important. You would never consider Kyler Murray or Bryce Young, anybody like that, as a quarterback. And those things, I think, have led to a change in the way, in the style that quarterbacks play. And then, of course, Mahomes blew that all up because once he kind of took the Aaron Rodgers thing to the next level of creating out of structure, and now that's all we're looking for. And you could tie it back to the question you asked about Caleb. Like, that's how he got the #1 pick, was all those freaky plays that he was making in college, and we all were like, he can overcome the coaching.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how I think we got there.
But it's a hard thing to break, a hard habit to break when pressure happens. Like, you know, Tebow did this when he got to the NFL. Like, you're in Florida, you can do that. In the NFL, you can't. Somebody's going to find you. They're going to track you down.
I think it's a hard habit to break, but I don't think they want to break the habit. I mean, I don't think their coaches want them to break the habit. I think what they want them to do is something that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, of course, the best quarterbacks, have been able to do, is understand when it's time to do that and when it's not. So the type of players that they love, those the coaches want that type of player, because no matter how poorly you've coached this game, how figured out your offense is, Joe Burrow, a healthy Joe Burrow, can buy enough time to make you right, and then you look like a better coach. The problem is if you have more of those negative plays than positive plays, and it's something that should be an addition, like a bonus to the way that you run. And I think it's become core to so many players. And I think Cameron Ward in Tennessee is another example of that, where a lot of his success in college was a result of him creating,
Yeah.
and he's going to learn in the NFL that can't be all the time.
What happens if the Giants beat the Chiefs?
Ooh, the Giants beat the Chiefs. I think some people are finally going to not be scared to question the end of the Chiefs dynasty. And I don't think it does anything. I guess the vibes in New York would be a lot better, but I don't think it changes any of their plans going forward. It's really hard for me to imagine this happening. So if it does take place, the Tyreek Hill trade, I think that we all are speculating about, but doesn't really have much smoke, like that heats up a little bit more, and there are going to be some serious, I think, changes. The thing about the Chiefs that you see from Patrick Mahomes right now is not only that he's doing postseason Patrick running, he's trying to run people over. Like the first two games, he had 3 attempts where he's trying to run people over. He just seems like either he wants to like jokingly, he wants to take himself out of this foolishness. But seriously, he seems so frustrated that he's trying to express to his team, like, come on, help me.
Good to talk to you again.
You too, man. Thank you.
Do you ever want to tackle somebody?
Hell no.
No?
No. Do you?
Like Dan Orlovsky? Yeah, I'd like to smack somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Smack somebody. Tackling people hurts you too. And I wouldn't tackle Dan. He's too thin. He's also the type to call the police. Like he's gonna call him up. He's gonna press charges. Like I wouldn't take it there with Dan. He's not gonna swing back. He's just gonna call up them boys, and then I got a whole nother problem on my hands.
Shefty, you don't want to pop him?
No, Shefty, with the information guy, they're everybody's best friend. Shefty's never said or done anything to offend anybody. He's got to be in everyone's good graces all the time because you might be the one to have the news for him. Greeny, though. Greeny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, want to hit him every day, and that's what makes him a good host.
The next time he brings up the Jets, just smack him. Just like upside of the head, just smack him.
All right, I'll come work for you after that because he's a made man there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thanks again, Dominic.
No problem, man.
He's one of my favorites. Domonique Foxworth.